how is this glucose stored inside the plant? Inside the plant, it is stored in the form of starch. So, the first thing is about glucose, which was prepared in photosynthesis. How is glucose stored in plants and animals? Right? So, in plants, the glucose is stored in the form of starch. Whereas in animals, the glucose is stored in the form of glycogen. So is it clear to all? Now the next thing comes, what are the major events? This is a very, very important question from the board as well as school point of view. What are the major events taking place during photosynthesis? So the major events which are taking place during photosynthesis are three. The first one is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. Everyone knows chlorophyll is present in one of the cell organelles of the plant cell, that is chloroplast, right? So the first is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. Second is conversion of light energy into chemical energy, as well as splitting of water molecule. Okay, into H2 and O2. And the third one is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is what? Glucose. Reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose also you can write, or carbohydrate also you can write. Right. So now these are the three major events. This is one of the most important questions. What is it? Three major events which are taking place during photosynthesis. First is absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. Second is conversion of light energy into chemical energy and splitting of water molecule. And the last one is reduction of carbon dioxide into what? Carbohydrate. Now, let us summarize all the events in one single equation. All the major events of photosynthesis in one single equation. So what is it? The raw materials which are required for photosynthesis are carbon dioxide and water. So carbon it traps what? Sunlight. And who traps the sunlight? Chlorophyll. So these are the raw materials which are required for photosynthesis. Now in presence of all these materials, what happens? C6H12O6, that is glucose, is formed plus O2. Remember, I told you addition of hydrogen is also called reduction. So it was simple carbon dioxide, but when you look at the products, you see the hydrogen is added to carbon dioxide. So that is why we call it reduction of carbon dioxide into a carbohydrate. So the first step is going to be absorption of sunlight by chlorophyll. The second step is going to be conversion of light energy into chemical energy. It's a complicated process, but you have to learn it superficially. Take it. Conversion of light energy into chemical energy. And the third one is splitting of water molecule into H2 and O2. See, this water molecules get splitted into H2 and O2. The hydrogen produced here is required to reduce this carbon dioxide. And the oxygen produced here, is liberated as a byproduct. So many of us are under the misconception that the oxygen must have come from carbon dioxide. No, the oxygen does not come from carbon dioxide, it comes from water. So that is why this line is very important, that splitting of water molecules into H2 and O2. And the third is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrate. Now, the next is, how do desert plants photosynthesize? One very important question is that how do plants uptake carbon dioxide? So the plants uptake carbon dioxide by a very special organ or nacelle present in their leaves. And what is it? In the lower epidermis of the leaf, you can see, if you see under the microscope, the slides may also be shown to you in the school. You see two kidney-shaped structures surrounded by various cells. These kidney-shaped cells are called guard cells. What are they known as? Guard cells. As it is a plant cell, there must be vacuoles present and there must be chloroplasts present and there will be a nucleus, right? The pore inside is known as what? Stomatal pore, and this pore helps in exchange of gases, right? The cells surrounding these cells, they all have, all of them will be having chloroplast and they'll be having vacuole because of the fact that they are what? Plant cells, and the nucleus. These cells are known as what? Subsidiary cells. Right, and the entire apparatus is known as stomatal apparatus. Now this stomatal, if the plant is well watered, then the cells are going to be turgid, and when the cells are going to be turgid, the pore is going to be open, right? But if there is any deficiency of water, then what happens? The guard cells, they become flaccid. When they become flaccid, it is somewhat like this. In the absence of, water, transpiration cannot take place. Transpiration means loss of water cannot take place. To stop the loss of water and to stop the exchange of gases, what happens? It becomes flaccid and the pore closes on itself. So it is very natural in the plants, and this is a stomatal apparatus. So stomata helps in exchange of gases as well as it helps in transpiration, means liberate of water molecules to the surrounding atmosphere, right? So now let us come to the next topic, that is, how do desert plants photosynthesize? So the next question from in-text is, how do desert plants photosynthesize? Now especially, why are we talking about desert plants? You see, desert means a lot of heat. Lot of heat means if the stomatal pores remain open, the plant can lose excessive water, right? Which a plant cannot afford. So mostly the desert plants have got leaves reduced to spines, and the stem has stomata but sunken stomata, right? So what do? The desert plants, they open their stomata at night and they uptake CO2 at night, right? And they prepare a intermediate, right? This intermediate is acted upon by sunlight during the day. This is how they photosynthesize, and this is also one of the very important questions. How do desert plants photosynthesize? So that's all for today. Have a lovely day.